I want to preface this video by saying I am one of the laziest people that I personally know myself. And then I want you to take a look at this. These are all the awards that I've racked up during high school while being one of the most, if not the laziest person that I am close with. And that's because I figured out how to reverse engineer every system in order to win without suffering, win without working hard. Because if everyone has the exact same resources, right? Everyone has the same instructions, everyone has the same event guidelines, everyone has the same financial capability, let's say. You guys all have the same resources. The person who wins is just gonna be the person who suffers the most if you're all playing with the same resources. What you need to do, and then I've realized, is the only way to win without suffering is to sidestep the competition, is to take what everyone else is doing and decide that you're not gonna do that. And instead, you're gonna play the game the way it's meant to be played. Whatever game you're playing, let's say FBLA, everyone forgets how the event is scored in the first place. Everyone wants to have the prettiest presentation, everyone wants to put the most amount of hours into prepping and memorizing their script and making sure it sounds super cool, but everyone forgets how the judge is actually scoring you. When you want to figure out how to get the results that you want, everyone seems to look at, okay, what does everyone else do and how can I try to do it better than them? Rather than looking at, hey, how am I actually going to be scored? And how can I maximize the amount of points that I'm going to get while being scored? This doesn't just apply to FBLA. This applies to every aspect of your life. You want a job interview? Okay, what do they actually care about? Not what does everybody else try to get good at. What do they actually care about from the perspective of the person who is determining your outcome? From the perspective of your judge, what do they care about? And if you don't know that, your first step is figuring that out because that's what people never bother to figure out. Everyone feels like too out there. I reached out to my judge after the state competition in order to figure out what he actually looked for and how we made it to nationals and how we can push even further at nationals to actually win an award there, which we did. In network design, the event my friends and I competed in freshman year, we got third place in the state out of 7 people, by the way. Top 4 go to nationals. So we got lucky and we learned from our judge. We met up with him. We went to dinner with him. We learned so much from him. We got our entire presentation template to ace the rubric. And that's because we got insider perspective, almost like insider information that everyone else was too scared or didn't even think of trying to get. And we used that. And we didn't know half as much as some of the other teams. We knew people competing in these other events. We didn't know half as much as them, but we ended up getting second place in the entire nation in our event. Not just that, we used that same template on another event the next year, Management Information Systems, and we got second place in the nation. Again, we got first place at states and first place in the region in that event, just using this template. Because we decided to sidestep the competition. We decided not to just try to suffer as much as we can, because there's no virtue in suffering when it's pointless suffering. If you have the choice not to suffer and to get the same outcome, why the hell would you choose to suffer? And a lot of people don't understand this and it pisses me off, which is why I'm making this video. Because I get so many people asking me like, hey, how can I win this? How can I win that? Like, how can I just stay disciplined? How can I stay motivated? You honestly don't need to be the most disciplined or the most motivated person to win. Like, you want to be better than everyone else. You want to beat everyone else. You don't just need to work harder than them. You need to work hard, but you need to work hard on the right things. When they say don't work hard, work smart, that's halfway complete. You need to work smart, and then you need to work hard on those smart things. If you work hard at the same things everyone else is doing, it's just a suffering contest, and the winner is going to be random because your motivation is going to falter. Your discipline is going to falter. You're not a perfect being. You're a human. That's what makes you human, is that you're not a robot and you're going to make mistakes, you're going to slip up, which is why your system, the actions that you are taking need to be so intentional and so precise that you end up getting the result that you want, regardless of your motivation fluctuating, your discipline fluctuating, because what you're doing is just so much more targeted than everyone else. And that's where everyone messes up. We're trying to be a better version of everyone else when you just need to be different. This, you can apply this to anything. You can apply this to job interviews, you can apply this to college applications. They end up selecting the people who are unique because those people aren't even competing with anyone. You have no competition. When we went to compete, my mindset was, I don't have any competition. My goal here is to score the highest on this rubric and to be objectively and unanimously loved by these judges for being myself, because that is how you truly stand up, because everyone else is just trying to be the best version of this collective idea of what a good person is in every category, what a good FBLA competitor is, what a good TSA competitor is, what a good job applicant interviewer is. But you need to be yourself, and the best version of you is the version that people will love. I use an example in one of these videos I made the other day. There's this guy, he's the Penn State guy. You might know him. His name is Shamak Agarwal, I think. That guy, he is one of the most I don't know if that's a very acceptable term, but he is this Indian guy who really doesn't understand social or cultural norms that well in terms of living in the United States. And he's just really genuine. And he could not care less about being liked by people. That guy has like 130,000 followers on Instagram. He is loved by so many people because he doesn't care about being liked by those people. He's not the most handsome, he's not the richest, he doesn't have any of these unfair advantages. He really has a lot of disadvantages when you compare him to other people. But he is so well liked because he is so genuine and he succeeds in the area that he's trying to succeed in because he doesn't care about the competition. So many of you are worried, like, oh, YZ people are competing in the same thing. How am I going to beat them? You don't have to beat them because in your mind, they shouldn't even be your competition. You should be competing against no one other than your past self. That's a great self improvement mindset. But in terms of this competition, all you need to do in any competition is just get consistently better than yourself. Just keep on getting better and better and better until you can become the absolute best version of yourself that you can. And that's the version that's going to win because you're really not in competition with anyone else. When you become so unique and so honed into your identity, people will love you. And people loving you will get you into so many places and open so many doors. And the halo effect is so real. Like in any competition, looking good, smelling good, smiling at people, being kind to people has such a big difference. People just like you more. They automatically think you're smarter. All of these things make a difference. When you're so close minded and you think, okay, this is what everyone does, so I need to figure out what everyone does and I need to figure out what's the best way to do it. No, you need to figure out what do I want? Not what does everyone want? What do I want out of this? For example, in FBLA, I wanted a national level award. So what did I do? I picked the least competitive event I possibly could, and I followed the rubric to a T so I could put in the least amount of effort and get the most amount of points. I'm not saying I didn't put in any effort. I am lazy, but I'm not useless. I put in effort to the things that I knew absolutely mattered, and the things that didn't matter, I didn't give a second thought to. While other people spend hours and hours and hours perfecting those aspects of their presentations, their projects, their events, when they didn't really matter when it came to objective scoring. Because when you consider yourself to be in the position of the person who's scoring you, you end up cutting out all the filler bullshit and you focus on what actually matters. And that way, you just end up winning. It's literally impossible not to win. It's so, so, so hard not to win. The people who consistently win, this is what they do. They don't just get lucky one time, or they don't just work harder than everyone else one time, because that's how you burn out. You burn out by trying to win the suffering contest every single time with all these different people. You really think out of the 7 billion people on this earth that you can work harder than all of them? You're just genetically gifted somehow that you're going to be able to suffer more than them? There are kids in Gaza who have an incredible tolerance for suffering. You think you can compare to any of them? You think you can really beat everyone just by being able to suffer more than them? You can beat everyone by doing what nobody else does. To get results that nobody gets, you have to do what nobody does. That's the main point of this entire video. You need to understand that. You need to understand that suffering does not equate winning. Winners, the people who consistently win, are different from everyone else. You need to figure out in whatever area you want to win in what makes those winners different and how do I do what they do. That's it.